Ma'am, tell me exactly what happened. Why do you need the police?
Stop! Stop!
Horrible case of father takes the life of his child to punish the mother.
Right now, a man is behind bars after a 4-year-old girl was stabbed to death in southwest Atlanta.
Atlanta News First's Niamani Watson is in studio with us right now. Niamani, police say this all started with an argument between the suspect and a woman, and that child was stabbed.
Yeah, very unfortunate situation. We also spoke with neighbors who say they heard the two arguing outside before the suspect, identified as Rashad Dixon, ran in the apartment with the little girl. Atlanta police say this happened late Saturday night at an apartment complex on Allison Court. Now, we've blurred some parts of the video where blood can be seen on a car in the parking lot and on the window of one of the units. Police say officers responded to a person hurt after a domestic dispute. When officers arrived, they found Dixon with lacerations on his body and the 4-year-old girl, Zuri Dixon, with multiple stab wounds. Both were taken to the hospital. Unfortunately, Zuri did not survive. One neighbor describes what he saw and heard that night.
They were just arguing, going back and forth, back and forth. He had the kids in his hand. She's saying, "Give me my kids."
Late Saturday night, March 14th, 2026, neighbors at an apartment complex in southwest Atlanta heard a man and a woman arguing outside. Then the man grabbed both children, ran inside the apartment, and locked the door. The mother was outside banging on the door, screaming, "Give me my kids!" She went door to door in the complex begging neighbors for help, telling them her baby had been stabbed. Then came the sound of breaking glass. Then a child screaming. When Atlanta police arrived, the apartment was locked from the inside. Officers couldn't get through the front door. They found a window that was slightly open and forced their way in. Inside, they found Rashad holding his 4-year-old daughter, Zuri. He had stabbed her multiple times. Officers used de-escalation tactics to get her out of his arms and into the hands of paramedics. Zuri was rushed to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. She died at the hospital. She was 4 years old. She was supposed to start Spanish classes that Friday. And the man who killed her had stabbed himself in the neck in an attempt to evade the consequences of his actions.
Forcing entry into the apartment, they located a male who was holding a child who apparently was suffering from some serious injuries. The residence was locked, so the officers thought outside the box and were ready to open a window that was ajar. It's a job, and we're able to get that child away from the male, use some de-escalation techniques. We're able to take that male into custody.
Before we get into today's story, welcome to Buzzed Crime. Leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Zuri Dixon was 4 years old. She was bright, she was sassy, and she loved mermaids. She had a sense of humor that caught adults off guard. She was 4 years old, and she was already funnier than most adults. And she had something about her that everybody who knew her talked about. She was a hugger. She would ask you for a hug, and if you said no, she would ask again until you gave in. Her father was Rashad Dixon. He was 34 years old. This family's situation had been bad for a while. Jazzuri Rouse had already been to a domestic violence shelter before March 14th. A neighbor who knew her from the same shelter confirmed that domestic violence had been part of this family's life before that night. Jazzuri had already done the thing that every domestic violence resource tells women to do. She left. She got to a shelter. She started trying to build something safer for her children. And somehow, Rashad Dixon was still in the picture. In June 2025, 9 months before Zuri was killed, the Fulton County DA confirmed that Dixon was indicted on an aggravated assault charge. The victim in that charge was Jazzuri Rouse. He had assaulted the mother of his children months before he killed one of them. On the night of March 14th, 2026, Rashad Dixon was at the apartment on Allison Court with both children. Now let me walk you through what happened that night, because the sequence of events matters. This was not a man who snapped. This was a man who made a series of deliberate choices, one after another, each one more calculated than the last. Jazzuri did not want Dixon at the apartment that night. She called 911, Before she could finish the call, Dixon grabbed the phone from her hand and stabbed it with a knife, making it inoperable. He destroyed her ability to call for help. Then he went outside to where her car was parked and smashed one of the front windows. He destroyed her ability to leave. Then he grabbed both children and ran upstairs into the apartment and locked the door from the inside. Jazzuri Rouse was now outside with no phone, no car, and no access to her children. She went door to door in that complex banging on neighbors' doors, begging someone to help her.
She was knocking on everybody's door, and that's when she had found my friend Keita and told her that her baby was stabbed 5 times. So 12 police officers was out here trying to get the situation defused. It made me actually want to hold my kids and be with my kids.
Inside that apartment, behind a locked door, Rashad Dixon stabbed his 4-year-old daughter multiple times because her mother wanted to leave him. Dixon murdered his own daughter to punish Jazzuri Rouse for wanting to leave.
Horrible case of father takes the life of his child to punish the mother.
He didn't kill Zuri because he lost control. He killed her because she was the thing her mother loved most in the world, and destroying that was the only power he had left. Then he stabbed himself in the neck, just enough to create a story that he was a victim too, an attempt to evade the consequences of his actions. When police came through that window and found Dixon holding Zuri, he was holding a dying child. Officers had to use de-escalation techniques to get Zuri out of his arms without making the situation worse. She was rushed to Children's Health Care of Atlanta Hughes Spalding Hospital, where she died from her injuries. Rashad Dixon was taken into custody at the scene. The charges cover everything he did that night: murder for killing Zuri, aggravated assault and battery for the attack itself, first-degree cruelty to children because the victim was a 4-year-old, possession of a knife during a felony, false imprisonment for locking the children inside that apartment and refusing to let them go, 2 counts of criminal damage for the phone he stabbed and the car window he smashed, the 2 things Jazzuri needed to call for help and get away, and simple assault, 9 charges total. The Fulton County DA's office is seeking life in prison.
I'm going to ask that he be put in prison for the rest of his life.
Sometimes they say prosecutors don't cry, but this one, when you read it, when you see some of the evidence, it's heart-wrenching.
His own mother told reporters she doesn't think she can find it in her heart to forgive him. She said he had sent her a photo of Zuri earlier that same Saturday. She was in shock. On the days following Zuri's death, the community on Allison Court held a vigil. People came with candles, balloons, and prayers. They stood on the same street where neighbors had heard a mother screaming for her children and held space for a 4-year-old girl who should still be alive.
I don't have any words. I still don't have any words. The situation needs to be addressed, and maybe our story needs to be heard. Today by day task when your firstborn, your only daughter is not with you, somebody that you see every single day is not with you, that ain't no easy task to come. My girl was destined to be great.
A GoFundMe was set up to help Jazzuri cover funeral expenses, move out of the apartment where her daughter was killed, and replace the items damaged during the crime. Now, here is the part of this story that cannot be ignored. Jazzuri Rouse did everything the system tells women to do. She left, she went to a shelter, she started rebuilding. She was one of the women who actually got help, and her daughter is still dead. Because in Georgia last year, domestic violence advocates answered over 110,000 crisis calls, and 1 out of every 4 victims who sought services was turned away. Not because the organizations didn't want to help, because the shelters were full, the staff had been cut, the funding wasn't there. Jazzuri was in the 3 out of 4 who got a bed. She was one of the ones the system was able to hold, and the violence that she had already left once still found her daughter. Rashad Dixon had an aggravated assault charge against Jazzuri from June 2025. The system had his name. The system had the victim's name. The system had the pattern. And on March 14th, 2026, he was inside a locked apartment with a knife and both of his children. How many times does a woman have to leave before the system actually keeps her safe?
This is your hood, Uncle Ye, and who I'm here with today?
I'm Jazzuri Rouse. I'm Zuri Dixon's mom.
All right, and I was just in these apartments the other day. Very emotional out here. Is there anything you want the world to know about your daughter?
She was bright. She was sassy. She loved mermaids. To be so young, she was a force to be reckoned with. Like, she was a smart kid. She was supposed to start Spanish classes on Friday. Like, that's my whole world. Like, that's half of my namesake. I could go on and on about Zuri forever. It's just like, I don't think it's enough words to ever talk about my girl.
Okay, if you wanted to just give a good memory of her, like a good story that you just never forget, what would you want the people to know?
One day, I was getting ready to go to the Falcons game, and I caught myself getting dressed up, so I had like put these braille twists in my locks. And she was like, "Mom, you know what you look like?" I'm like, "What's it?" She was like, "You look like Sonic." and it was just so funny because, like, out of all the things, like, I'm thinking I'm looking good. You told me I'm looking like Sonic. It's just like, right. It was just like, she was just so funny.
All right. Oh, tell them about the time that when I met her. I didn't even know I met her till you told me.
We was coming across the street on what is that? What street is that? Boulevard.
Boulevard.
We was coming across the street on Boulevard, and we was trying to make it to the bus stop. So I really wasn't paying attention to what was in the street, and it was like the somebody hit a pole or something. Somebody hit a pole or something. It was like, "Get your ass out the street." So then I looked up. I'm like, "Oh shit! Like all this shit is in the street." So we had ended up asking him what would happen. We ended up taking a picture and then going to like the bus. We ended up going to the bus stop. Yeah. It was early in the morning too.
Yeah, it was early. It was like 6 in the morning.
Yeah, it was early.
And the sun was just coming up.
Yeah.
And I seen you come across in that stroller. I was like, "Hey, get your ass out of the motherfucking street, goddamn." Yeah, man. So, anything else you want the community to know?
I would just say, I know domestic violence is hard, and I know a lot of people not going to talk about it because you don't want nobody to sometimes know that you're in the situation that you're in. And a lot of times, I know people stay in the situation that they're in because they don't have help. I would just say, if you're in a situation and he hit you or he just makes you feel uncomfortable, or if somebody you want to see the signs. It's just anything that don't feel right in your spirit, just let it go. I just don't ever put yourself in a position to where you gotta lose somebody you love the most. That's just my biggest thing. Just do better if you can. Check all the resources that you can. Be quiet about your plan. Just don't try to put yourself in harm's way or nobody else. So just get out. Just get out. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Is there anything that the community, the city, the world can do to help? Like help you.
Donate to my daughter's GoFundMe. I would say get in touch with the mayor's office because I have a plan that I'm working on for my daughter. I would say keep my daughter's name relevant and don't let it go. And ultimately, just give justice for my daughter. Give my daughter true justice. I feel like I kind of failed as a parent to give her true justice on earth. So in her afterlife, I plan to get justice for her. Like I plan to fight every single day, whether it's creating a bill, whether it's making a shelter, whether it's I gotta go to the courthouse just to name a street after her to make such voice be heard. I just feel like she's not gonna die in vain. Like I'm her mama, and if anybody know me, they know that I'm gonna get some business handled, especially on my daughter's behalf. So I just feel like this death is not gonna be one in vain.
Zuri Dixon was 4 years old. She was bright. She loved mermaids and hugs and food and making her mama laugh by comparing her to Sonic the Hedgehog. She was supposed to start Spanish classes on a Friday that she never got to see. When police came through that window, Zuri was in her father's arms. The same man who had just stabbed her. Her mother was outside the whole time and never got to hold her daughter again. Jazzuri Rouse left a violent situation. She went to a shelter. She tried to start over, and she still lost her daughter. Now she's raising a baby boy who has no sister, trying to move out of the apartment where Zuri was killed, and figuring out how to get through each day without her. She asked for one person who hears Zuri's story and does something different because of it. May Zuri Dixon rest in peace.
Tell her no, but at the end of the day, she'll be like, give me a hug. I want the hug. And then you just can't tell her no.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Buzzed Crime and turn on notifications so you don't miss cases like this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this video. Someone you know might need to see it.